So earlier today, I made a power rankings video. I ranked my top 10 teams going into this upcoming season. Now, later in the day, we're going to be breaking down week one's games and making my predictions like I always do. Let me know your predictions down in the comments below. We'll tackle the Eagles and Cowboys in a separate video like I always do. That'll be tomorrow night. Right now, we're going to break down things starting off with Friday night football in Brazil. The Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Los Angeles Chargers. This game is interesting because I really, try to be unbiased as possible with these picks, of course. Even though I am sporting the Super Bowl champion Eagles hat, I can't help myself. I think that the Chiefs regress a lot this year. Not a lot to not compete or win their division. I still think that they are going to win their division, but I don't think that they're going to be this tremendous force that somehow wins 15 games regardless of whatever situation they end up throwing themselves into. I think the Chargers and the Broncos have definitely improved, and Keenan Allen returning makes a huge difference for that team when it comes to Justin Herbert throwing the ball and having more options. I think the Chargers are going to pull out a victory in Brazil. Won't be indicative of either season and how their teams are going to go. I just think that the Chiefs might start out a tad bit slower than normal. Speaking of starting off slow, Bengals versus Browns. The Bengals are well known for their slow starts, and last year was no different. They play the Cleveland Browns, Battle of Ohio, AFC North showdown. I have the Bengals winning this one. I don't think they start off as slow as they have in the past. I think that they, pull off a victory. They look good while doing it. The Browns are a really big mess, and I don't see them really improving on themselves from last year whatsoever. There's a lot to digest with that team, and that's a whole other thing. But I got the Bengals winning this one. Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Atlanta to play the Falcons. This one I feel is a no-brainer. It's going to be a good one. I feel like these two always have good matchups against each other, but even so, I think the Buccaneers are clearly the better team, and they're going to win. I think Baker Mayfield is still top 10, top 12 quarterback in the league. Very underrated. He puts up a lot of good numbers and does a lot of good things, and he is very easy to rally behind, and I think Chris Godwin coming back, you got Mike Evans there, you got a solid defense to back them up. I think that they'll be able to make some noise. I think they'll take this one. The Cardinals at the New Orleans Saints. Kellen Moore going up against Jonathan Gannon, the battle of former Eagle offense and defensive coordinators. This is going to be an interesting one. It's probably the weirdest matchup in my opinion this week. NFC South versus the NFC West. I think the Cardinals win this one. I think everybody can kind of objectively agree that the Saints are going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. Roster-wise, they are just not there yet. I don't dislike Kellen Moore as a coach, as an offensive mind. I think that he has a lot of good things that he can do with the team, but I don't think that that team is going to put it together right now. I think the Cardinals, on the other hand, are a bit of a sleeper team that can definitely pull something off if they get hot at the right moment, and I think this is also a make-or-break year for Jonathan Gannon. I'm going to give the Cardinals the dub. Miami Dolphins, Indianapolis Colts, another very weird AFC East versus AFC South team matchup right here. I think the Dolphins are objectively the better team. I don't trust Daniel Jones. I don't trust Anthony Richardson, so I got to go with Tua so long as he's healthy. He's got Tyreek Hill. He's got Jalen Waddle. What more do you want from me? I think Mike McDaniel has a lot to prove this year if he wants to keep his job. And obviously we have the Tyreek Hill drama, whatever. We'll see how that plays out, but I think the Dolphins will take this one. New York Giants versus the Washington Commanders, the Eagles and Cowboys. We will be watching very closely with this one after Thursday night for sure. Giants, I think, have improved a lot more than a lot of people want to give them credit. I think Russell Wilson will be fine as the quarterback until Jackson Dart is ready to go, and obviously Jameis Winston is a good backup to both. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, however, are a very good football team and will be contending for a playoff spot, championship bound. You know the drill. We were just there with them in January, so they are very obviously going to get their respect and their credit. However, I do have my questions. I talked about that in the power rankings video. I think that this team, now that Terry McLaurin is there, is very much solidified as a threat in the NFC. And while the Giants have improved, and I think they will be better this year than they have been in recent history, I'm going to go with the Commanders. Panthers at the Jaguars. Battle of the Cats in the AFC, huh? Well, AFC versus NFC. It's still a very weird matchup. I'm going to go with the Jaguars. I think Travis Hunter is going to show why he was drafted as highly as he was. And I think the Jaguars really need to start off strong with Liam Cohen hiring as the head coach. I think Panthers are a good team to do that against. And the Panthers, I think, as well, have improved. And that game, I think, is going to be probably, honestly, one of the more fun ones to watch. Even though the Panthers did lose Adam Thielen, I still think they have an interesting team building over there. Raiders at the Patriots, kind of a forgettable game. I'm going to go with the Patriots. I think Drake May and the Patriots are going to continue to improve slowly but surely, and I think the Raiders are ways away from being anything relevant. Let's be real here. Steelers at the Jets. Aaron Rodgers returning to the Jets. Only he's playing against them as a Steeler, and Justin Fields is watching his former team come into New York. That's one of my most anticipated matchups right there. It's just so interesting, so weird. It could go either way, and I was at kind of a loss with who to pick here, but I feel like the Steelers, they're gonna find a way to win, no matter how ugly it's gonna be. I think the Steelers are gonna take this one. NFC West showdown, 49ers, Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. Give me the 49ers. They're going to win more games. They have an easier schedule. As long as they can stay healthy, they can win a lot of those games. Seahawks got worse this year. I think that's easy, done and done. Tennessee Titans at the Denver Broncos. I, for one, think the Broncos are going to be a very good team this year. I think that they're going to be the Washington Commanders type of team where they get hot at the right moment and shock a lot of people with how far they go in the postseason. But we got to get there first, and their first road bump is the Tennessee Titans, who I think will be the worst team in the AFC. Give me the Broncos. Lions versus the Green Bay Packers. This is a game that we're all waiting for, that we are all excited to see. Micah Parsons, hopefully he's questionable, but will hopefully be suiting up for the first time as a Green Bay Packer. And you got guys like Aiden Hutchinson and others returning from injuries as the Lions try to come back together. I did talk about how I feel about a potential collapse like the 2023 Eagles this year for the Lions. This game could go either way. It's in Lambeau. I think the Packers got a lot more riding on them, and they are the healthier team outside of Jordan Love and his thumb issue. We'll see how that goes. But I'm going to give it to the Packers. The Texans, against the Los Angeles Rams. Give me the Rams, so long as, you know what? I'm going to change something up here. I have picked the Rams in the past. Earlier when I circled my predictions, I'm actually going to say the Texans are going to win this game. I think right now the Texans are actually in a really good spot as opposed to the Rams, who, while dangerous, and I do believe they will be a threat in the NFC, I'm worried about Matt Stafford's back, and I'm worried overall about that team health-wise. I think the Texans really have to step up and prove that they can beat teams like the Rams and others to really get to where they want to be. And I think they'll pull off an upset here on the road at SoFi Stadium. Sunday Night Football. The Ravens at the Bills. This could go either way. We got the MVP who should have been MVP in Lamar Jackson and the legitimate reigning MVP, Josh Allen. And I mean, it's a very even match, and I don't know who exactly is going to win. This is a coin flip in my mind, but if I had to pick somebody, I think the Ravens have the second best roster. I stay true to that. I'm going to go with the Ravens. And last but not least, an interesting matchup, NFC North showdown, Monday Night Football. The Minnesota Vikings go to Chicago to play the Bears. Ben Johnson's debut as a head coach going up against Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota Vikings, and J.J. McCarthy's official NFL debut because he got hurt last year. He's the biggest question mark that I have, while the Bears are a complete question mark with the new head coach and everything along those lines. They lost Keenan Allen. I still think the Bears are decent enough to pull off a W here, and I'm going to give them the upset win, even though they're at home. I think they're favorites too. In my mind, this feels like an upset win. I'm going to give the Bears a dub. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below. I'll see you guys tomorrow night when we break down the Cowboys and the Eagles Week 1 opening to the season. Peace out, y'all.